Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, Sobat Tugas. My name is Balik Solikatus Sakina and my friends Anita Junardi. I'm from Basic Education Program Sekolah Pasca Sarjana Universitas Negeri Malang. I would like to present my article entitled The Effect of Learning Community in Enhancing the Student Capability in Solving Mathematics Problem in 5th grade.
The abstract of this research is student skills in solving problems in mathematics have an impact on learning outcome. Mathematical problems are closely related to students' daily life. This problem can be resolved through discussion and collaboration. A learning community is a learning model that facilitates problem solving in a learning community. In society, students play an active role by sharing knowledge in problem solving. The research aims to know the effect of mathematical problem solving ability in class with a learning community. The method used is a quasi-experiment design with a non-equivalent control group design. The result of this study indicate that increase in the experimental class of 65.84% are categorized as quite effective. The experimental class and the control class showed difference in mathematical problem-solving ability, which were indicated by a significant level less than 0.05. This indicates that there is an influence of the learning community on increasing mathematical problem-solving abilities. The result of the research in the experimental class can be concluded that the learning community on improving student ability to solve mathematical problems.
The next slide about introduction. Mathematics is a science that studies abstract structure and patterns of relationships that exist in them from Subarina to 26. The understand the abstract structure and the pattern of relationship that occur. A concrete activity is needed to facilitate understanding the structure and pattern of relationship in mathematics. Mathematical skills are very necessary because mathematics is related to everyday life. After understanding the mathematical concept, it is hoped that it will be applied in student daily lives. The application of mathematics in everyday life will foster an attitude of respect for mathematics. Mathematics application must be done because mathematics provides many benefits. The next slide, research problem. Research problem first are the difference in student abilities in solving maths problem using conventional learning and thus using the learning community. 2. Is there any influence of the learning community on the ability to solve mathematical problems? The next slide about method. The study used a quasi-experimental approach with a pretest, post-test, non-random mixed control group design, where a group of subjects is taken from a certain population, and the pretest is the given sequential treatment. This experimental research design is a non-equivalent pretest, post-test group design. The sample taken were class 5 UPT SD Negeri Pendas 2 as an experimental class with amounted the 15 children and class 5 UPT SD Negeri Jeblok as a control class also amounted to 15 children.
Data analysis technique in this research is one of the prerequisite tests, namely the data analysis using the normality test as a condition for conducting parametric statistical analysis. One sample Kolmogorov-Smirnov test with SPSS 25 application was used in this study with a significant level of 0.05. To determine the variance of the data from the two groups using the homogeneity test. Homogeneous data is a requirement, not an absolute requirement, in the independent sample t-test. The data in the group are declared the same if the significant value based on the mean is greater than 5%. Hypothesis test, the comparison between t-count and t-table is as follows. Null hypothesis is accepted if t-count less than t-table. Null hypothesis is rejected if count more than t-table. Comparison between t-count and t-table with the following condition. Null hypothesis is accepted if significant more than level alpha. Null hypothesis is rejected if significant less than level alpha. I will explain the result of this research. And the first description of pre-test result for experiment class and control class. In control class, the highest score is 75, lowest value is 45. And then in experiment class, the highest score is 70 and the lowest value is 45. The average value of the experimental class and control class is still in the low category. Namely, the average study score is less than 75. This shows that the student ability is still in the low category of post-test experiment class and control class. And control class, the highest score is 80, lowest value 50, and the average is 63.33. And then in experiment class, the highest score is 100, and the lowest value is 75. The average is 85.33. The average value of the experimental class is higher than the control class, where the average value of the experimental class is 85.33 and the average value of the control class is 60.33. Normally, test results explain that the experimental sample and the control sample have a normal distribution as seen in Fig. Significant level more than 0.05, namely alternative hypothesis is accepted and null hypothesis is rejected. Homogeneity test explain that the result of the homogeneity test using SPSS have significant level of 0.868 more than 0.05 and the post-test value data obtained from the experimental class and control class. The homogeneity test result using SPSS has a significance of 0.635 more than 0.05. So, it can be concluded that the control class group and the experimental class group data variance from the two class groups are homogeneous. Description of the result of n-gain experimental and control class explain that the average n-gain for the control class is 90.49 and the experimental class is 65.85. This shows that n-gain of the experimental class is greater than control class. The Dasar result for hypothesis explain that the 6 to child value 0 less than 0.05 which means that there is a significant difference in the average mathematical problem-solving ability between the learning community model and the no-learning community model. Of the research is the average value of the p-test result for the experimental class is 56.67, and upon the control classes is 54.66, while the average value of the post-test result of the experiment class is 85.23, and the control class is 63.33, so that the value that shows students' ability in solving mathematical problem obtained by student talk learning community is higher than students who are taught by applying conventional learning. Normality test results show that the significance of the control class is 0.505, and in the experimental class of 0.332. The result of the two variants are greater than 0.05. So, the distribution of the sample in this study is normally distributed. Of the research is the average value of the p-test result for the experimental class is 56.67, and upon the control classes is 54.66, while the average value of the post-test result of the experimental class is 85.23, and the control class is 63.33, so that the value that shows students' ability in solving mathematical problem obtained by student talk learning community is higher than students who are taught by applying conventional learning. Normality test results show that the significance of the control class is 0.505, and in the experimental class of 0.332. The result of the two variants are greater than 0.05. So, the distribution of the sample in this study is normally distributed. Interpretation of the effectiveness of N-kin. Based on the table, explain that the average result of N-kin of the experimental class is 65.85%. This means that the application of learning community to increase mathematical problem-solving ability is effective enough to test the hypothesis using the t-test. The result of the t-test obtained a significant level value of 0, which means less than 0.05. This means that null hypothesis is rejected because of significant less than level. So, alternative hypothesis is accepted, which means that there is an effect of implementing a learning community on increasing math problem-solving ability in grade 5 students. From the discussion above, it can be concluded that there are differences in learning outcome of mathematics, especially the ability to solve mathematical problems in classes that are applied to learning communities and classes that carry out conventional learning. The result of the study indicate that there is an effect of implementing a learning community on increasing mathematical problem-solving abilities in 5th grade elementary school students. This research is still limited, so it is hoped that there will be similar studies that further develop it in a wider scope and combine it with several other variables. I hope that what I convey can be useful for further education and research development. Before we end this presentation, I am Anita and my partner Miss Bali would like to thank everyone for the help. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.